the crowd. Right. I think it's perfect now. Sorry about the trouble. I usually don't use Zoom, so let's get that. Can you see my screens?
Yes, we can.
Right. So hi everyone. This is our first the beginning of new AGA Europe meeting of SIG scheduling. So the moderator would be me, Dominic, and Maciej. Do I pronounce your name correctly, Maciej?
Yes, that's
Very
correct.
good.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Kensei. I live in Japan and work for TechRate, which is an enterprise service mesh company. So Maciej, Dominic, you wanna have some brief self-introduction as well?
Yeah, so I'm Dominic. I'm working at Google in Krakow. It's been, I don't know, 17 years now or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what I can say, I've super enjoyed the opportunity to work on open source. That's
Nice.
great.
Yeah, and I am Maciej, and I also work at Google in Kraków, but a bit shorter than Dominic, almost 1 year at Google. And also enjoyed working at Kubernetes.
Cool. All right. So this is us. This is the host of this meeting. And yes, so this meeting is going to be bi-weekly meeting. And if we have no agenda, then we'll skip the one that we got accordingly. So, all right. So let's get into the main topic. From the first one, the CAP stuff. So we have a bunch of CAPs that is going on. And yeah, Dominic, do you have something to say? But
Right. So first of all, I'm not super certain that this is the whole list. So I can say that I'm pretty busy in learning everything, especially recently the DRA details, which are quite complicated. I started looking into implementation, but implementation covers both things that are no longer no longer supported and new features. So it's pretty hard uh, to understand everything. So my activities on other stuff in the community was very limited in the last few weeks. I was on 1 week on sick leave, so. But what I mean is that this is the list of the caps for review that I know. So if you see anything else, then please add it to the list.
yeah, right. So DRA is now getting more complicated, right? So even for me, I don't understand all. So we have to,
Yes.
yeah, catch up and yeah, collaborate with the, I think, working group device management or something. And yeah, so I think this is a huge risk, to be honest, because the deadline is this week. And actually, I'm gonna take 2 days off on Thursday and Friday. So for me, it's the remaining day is only today and tomorrow. And also,
Okay.
we technically we cannot be an approver. I mean, official approver from SIG scheduling. So all of them will eventually go to Aldo, which looks like impossible to cover all, honestly. So maybe we should have some prioritizing and we should have some prioritize over this list and see
So
which
I
should
can
be
tell
the.
what is the status of each reviews.
Mhm.
So the first one, admin controlled device attributes. I think this, from our perspective, it should be fine and reviewed.
I think even Aldo approved it already.
Yeah, it should be approved as well.
Okay.
I had some concerns, but the concerns are mainly about how DRA works with scheduling in general. But this is these discussions are very generic and probably not for this release cycle, and we should like think about them once we have more time.
So I actually haven't looked at this one. So probably you and Aldo would be the reviewers and approvers for this one.
Yeah,
This one,
I can
these
briefly
ones.
say I can
Mhm.
briefly say what this is about. So the idea is that some devices need to go for maintenance, and to achieve it, there are, so the CAP 5055 introduces taints for devices. So taints works very similar like taints in for nodes, but they are simply on specific devices. So if there is a taint on a device, then no new pods can be scheduled that use the device. And even if there's no schedule, no execution option picked, then the pods should be evicted. And there is introduction of the eviction manager. The first one, the 5027, it just allows to introduce attributes, override attributes for resource slices by administrators. So even though there is no attribute on the resource slice published by the device owner, administrator can add new attributes. And those attributes can, in fact, create the necessary taints. So this is the method to put taints on devices and, in fact, evict pods which are running there. So that's the more or less the summary. We can move to the second one, device attached before pod schedule. So this is about devices that are attachable, and the discussion is how exactly make the attachment possible in scheduling. So
I think
so
we
are
have author here. Hi, Hase-san.
Hi.
We have author here. So, all right, what's the current status? So I think Patrick and PLR reviewer saying that they are okay to proceed, right?
Actually, dear maintainer consider we can proceed to the KP, but I don't have a approval from SIG scheduling guys. And remain issue is should we use permit phase or prebind phase? this is not determined yet, so I would like to ask scheduling guys' opinion.
All right, so where is it?
Yeah, it's not easy to find this.
Yes, this one. So
Spread.
I think so this one, right?
Yeah, right.
So for me, it looks like impossible to use permit or cost filter, and we should go with the original idea that is proposing to use prebind. So that's my opinion for now. What do you think, Dominic?
So I think we can like list. I hope we can fit within the time that we have. At least we will skip the next topic. But for prebind, there are three problems. We have no nomination, at least currently. We have binding failure means penalty, although I'm not sure if it's a big problem. And we have the problem that events pile up. So I think we don't have to worry that much about the last two. The lack of node nomination is a little bit bigger problem, and we probably could like do something with that, but that means that we need to agree how to do it on the scheduler side. I'm not sure if it's possible to just do it on the plugin side. Because like prebind comes with assume already, right?
Yeah.
So when there is assume, I know that there might be a problem with because assume removes nominated node from the cache. As far as I know, it does not remove it from the API server, which is good, but it does remove it from cache. So if we do binding failure at the end, it probably will remove the assume, so it will unreserve resources. So we would have to figure out how to preserve nominated node, even if there is a binding failure.
Okay, so that's a good point. I think. But the point is that in the first place, whether we should preserve it or not, right? Because the device binding failure, after the failure, we may want to, just retry the scheduling, meaning maybe pick up another node. So whether we should prefer the same node to be picked up for the pod again for the next scheduling cycle or not might be a question in the first place.
Yeah, it's not very bad, but it may happen that some other pod will take the computing resources of the node. So there will be a GPU attachment, but no pod that needs this GPU will be able to use it because other resources may run out. Maybe it's not super common. It's not super common issue, but it may happen. So I think in the final implementation, this problem should be addressed.
Do you have any
Okay, so
other concerns apart from this one? Regarding proceeding with the prebind ID? Because we're kind of running out of the time and we should decide if we can just say okay with prebind for now, or we should have more discussion, even
yeah, I
though,
think that these are all the
yeah.
concerns.
Mhm.
Is it for alpha or for beta?
It's
alpha,
for
right?
alpha. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah. We can briefly go through the remaining ones, but the biggest problem with post filter is that we need to first not find the node within.
so regarding the
filtering.
post future idea has some issues from my view.
Mhm.
How to combine and how to distinguish normal scheduling failure and the scheduling failure, but just waiting for the binding. And the the nominated node name, nominated node could be overridden by other high priority pods. So, I mean,
Well, but this isn't it fine if there's high priority pod?
might be fine if we say it's fine. I mean, it's gonna be, you know, so it makes a difference from this current design, because the current design uses Assume, right? So Assume doesn't allow higher priority pod to take the place of lower priority pod. So, but if we go with post filter, then that means we are gonna go with nominated node, which means higher priority pod might take the place of lower priority pod, which is waiting for DOA devices. And waiting for the DOA devices might take time. So it takes a few minutes, right? So that means that lower priority pod gets, lower chance to get scheduled eventually. Because while they are waiting, they might be like their place might be taken over by other higher priority pod.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, and we also
if we can, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
don't have a scoring phase to pick the best node.
Scoring phase for what purpose?
So yeah, so if we fail to find a node in filtering phase, then we go directly to post filter.
Yeah,
So
right.
post filter will have to figure out what is the best node placement.
Yeah, that's also the point, right?
And we don't use our scoring.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so it
So,
seems like post filter is not a good option.
yep, and permit as well. So Aldo suggested permit, right? But permit, yes, permit uses, the order is that we assume pod and execute permit extensions. So it surely happens after we assume the pod, but if we reject this pod at permit, then the pod will be unassumed. So no reservation here. That's the problem. Then if we return wait status, like Dominic says, then it means that we are gonna wait. We are gonna wait for the device. We are gonna wait for device binding at binding cycles, which is essentially the same as the current design using rebind.
Mm-hmm.
Because although says that prebind is somewhat busy waiting, I agree that. But if we go with permit, then it's the same. We have to wait in a binding cycle conversion.
Yeah.
So
we probably should
yeah.
think about a long-term solution, because we seem to be missing place where this attachment could happen. And one of the problems is that the way they propose to attachment to work means that we have to reschedule such pod, because there will be new resource slice published. So rescheduling has to happen for this new resource slice to be consumed by resource claim. And I think from the scheduling point of view, this is very bad, because if we decided to bind something, we assume the binding will succeed, but not like make the binding cause rescheduling again, because this breaks our concept of scheduling and separate binding. That's why I'm suggesting them to think about figuring out how to do it, everything in binding. They had a proposal of proxy pods, proxy devices, which could keep the resource slice valid from the beginning to the end, but all the attachment would happen in binding, in our binding. But I think they are not eager to do it in this release cycle, so we will have to continue discussing this issue. So for now, we can live with this rescheduling after prebind, but this is not something that I think it's not acceptable for long term. Okay, so do we agree we go with prebind?
I agree.
Yeah, but like we should do this, but yeah, I'm sure that we want to go into beta before like resolving the problems that we have.
Excuse me, I have a question. I can't understand all of your comments. Sorry. I'd like to confirm. For the meantime, we can use prebind, but this is not the best option, I think. So we have to discuss how to solve it for beta release or G release. Is this correct understanding?
You are saying that the prebind is not the best option,
Say that
right?
again.
I understand. I think you said prebind is not the best option because there is some issues. But for the meantime, we can proceed to use prebind for alpha, and then we need to discuss how to improve this issue for beta release.
Yeah,
We
so
need to improve. this.
Yeah, so my take is that for now, Rebind looks like the only place that we can do this because Postfuture has problems and Permit has problems, not problems, but it's gonna be the same as using, Prebind. So Prebind looks like okay for now, but it still has some problems which we have to, deal.
Actually, I can't hear Kinsey's voice.
Hey, hello. You hear me?
I can hear.
Yeah, so my current take is that Rebind is the only place that we can do this for now. And, and but as Dominic said, there could be some issues on some scenarios, like
Yeah.
when device binding is failed or something like that. So we have to improve the plugin, or maybe along with some scheduler side changes. And we have to continue the discussion and keep improving the implementation around Prebind, or maybe eventually we have to switch to another extension point, but we are not sure at the moment. So this is my current take. Yeah, my take. So I'm not sure how Dominic or Achay thinks.
Yes. So I placed more verbose comments in our notes. So it is our recommendation. So the issues that we see, that it's not possible to reserve resources for now, but it seems like it is something that we should be able to address before beta. But the long-term issue is a little bit bigger, but we cannot solve it this week within that short time frame. But this is not alignment with the scheduler principles. So the resource allocation, in my opinion, should happen in binding, not in scheduling, or not within the scheduling. This is the whole topic I would like to discuss as a next point. So I don't want to talk too much about that. But this is the summary, I think. It is our recommendation, but those 2 points that we have to consider.
Okay, I
So
understand.
do you have any more questions and concerns about this?
I would like to get approval from the security during approval. Maybe I'll do.
Yeah, Aldo gonna be the approver for it, I think.
So should I contact Ardu, and should I explain the conclusion of this meeting?
I think there is no need because Aldo asked us to agree on recommendation, and once we agree, he should approve unless he sees a problem.
Okay. Anyway, I share the conclusion of this meeting into this cap, and I will ask Ardu.
So I think we can add our conclusion. Kansai, do you want to put it?
Sorry?
Do you want to put the conclusion into cap? Our conclusion?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think you
Kansai
mean.
will update.
Okay, so all right, I'll put some conclusion comment on the PL.
Okay, thank you.
Dominic,
Yes,
can you give me an email of you so that I can give you a permission? I mean, on the agenda.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it after the meeting, if you don't mind.
Thank you for your follow-up.
Next one.
Right. So the next one introduces resource pools, and I think they changed the way they account resources. If I understand correctly, this is to reduce the number of resource slices that needs to be published. But frankly, this is the cap that I understand less because I cannot go through the wording that it is using. So
yeah, who is reviewing it? Is it SIG scheduling? Okay.
Yeah,
I think
don't think it impacts scheduling in any way. Because I don't see changes that impact scheduling, so it's more about, I think.
Yeah. Then why they are arguing it's scheduling? I mean, if it's SIG scheduling, then we have to review it, right? We have to get some reviewers from SIG scheduling. Oh, Aldo is. I'm not sure if Aldo is taking care of it.
So I'm basically committed to review all those DRA caps, and I think I'm doing it. So this one, let's say it's the most remaining one.
All right, we have a lot.
Okay, so the another one, the multi-host. So this this cap introduces devices that can be available on different nodes, but the device itself resides on a single machine. So let's say we have a device, we have a machine, we have the GPU, TPU devices, and since this is a single machine, this device can be interconnected with a very fast virtual network, which is in fact, a network between how to call it, between chips on a single machine. So those connections are important. That's why we need to. So since this device will be available on multiple nodes, So scheduling should be aware that those nodes are interconnected with fast network between chips. So in fact, this introduces a topology between some of the nodes. And the SCAP proposes how to make it happen.
Is it alpha? Yeah,
you can take a look.
Alpha. Yeah, it's alpha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have any concerns with that. So I think there is my LGTM. I left one question, but it's not something that should be blocking. It's probably also a long term.
Okay. So this is this. And do you have anything to share for it? I mean, any discussion point? If not, then we can proceed.
I think no. I think the more interesting discussion is about the Maciek's cap, because we we probably have to think of how the attempt should be counted, and how the back of time should
Yeah, so
increase.
this one, right? So I just left the comment before the meeting. So this point, right? Whether we should increment the attempt or not. So my opinion is we should, because the pod is in back of queue. That means that some queue hints determine that some events coming, and this may make the pod schedulable, and this pod should be reach wide. So queue hint decided that, and that's why the pod is in back of queue. So I think that in this case, this pod should be able to get reach wide at any timing, regardless of with or without back off time, or longer or shorter of back off time.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I understand your concern. Yeah, so I mean, if there's this feature makes so many retries, and that those so many retries don't make this pod schedulable, then that's not the fault of this feature. I think that's the fault of QHint's accuracy, because QHint decides when to retry this pod.
Okay, so I think we need to remember about two things, like back of. So currently the active queue is populated by new pods that come in, and with pods coming from the back of queue. So there are two sources of the active queue, and active queue is ordered by pods priority. So the higher priority pod is like processed before lower priority pods. And the reason why the back of queue was introduced is the fact that higher priority pods may starve out lower priority pods. That's why we put this back of penalty on any pods that needs rescheduling. So if we now start treating our back of queue as if it was active queue, then we need to be careful to not repeat the same mistake and make the back of queue like capable of starving out lower priority pods.
Okay, so let's say there's no new incoming pod, and the only source is the only source of active queue is back of queue. Then back of queue, the top pod of back of queue is the pod with uh, uh,
Unfortunately, we cannot hear you. Hey, Kenza, you lost your voice, unfortunately. Kenza, unfortunately, we cannot understand anything that you are saying. Okay, so we need to wait until he rejoins.
Sorry, I'm back. You hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, my internet is terrible. So where do we now? Oh, yes, this one, right? What are we talking about? So, yeah, so let's say we don't have this feature, right? Then the top of backup queue pod, that top pod of backup queue is gonna be the next pod that the scheduler will schedule, right? There's no concept of priority class or something, because it's just an order of the backup time. And if we increment the attempt count here within this feature, the same pod won't disturb out other pods, because every time the pod is attempted, the backup time will get longer and longer.
Okay, maybe not longer, because when there's empty active queue, it will be pretty fast, but in the most of the time. But it will, it will go to the farther place in this back of queue. That's true. So the main question is, do we want to remove this functionality of back of timing out and putting a pod to the active queue?
We do not want. We still want to have a activity, right?
So what's the difference?
Sorry, what's the difference of what and what?
So what's the difference whether we put to active queue the pods that that passed the backoff time?
So I probably don't get your concern here. Because if we don't have this feature, then when active queue is empty, the scheduling throughput is 0, right? And so we are popping the pod from backup queue and schedule it. But we still have active queue because backup queue, I mean, there may be some new pods incoming to the scheduler, or there might be some pod that complete the backup during the scheduling. It's just that
Okay.
we have no pod to schedule in the active queue. So we pop out the top pod from backup queue, right? So
Okay, so the question is, what is it possible that some pods is starved in our new backup queue?
I think the only possibility will be when all pods in backup queue have the maximum backup. So yeah, technically, but still, if we increment the attempts, it should prevent starving.
Yeah.
But if all the pods has the max backup already, then our queue works like a regular queue, not a priority, right? Like FIFO queue.
Yeah, it should still work.
Yeah,
Because we go to the very end of the queue, and so in fact we are ignoring priorities, but let everything go
fast in, first out. But
yeah,
that's the same behavior as current scheduler, right? Because even with the current scheduler, it's gonna be fast in, first out, because it's gonna be like one pod, so the back of one pod is complete, then it's moved to active queue, then scheduler immediately pop out this pod and schedule it, then next pod. It's gonna be fast in, first out, even with the current scheduler.
So let me say about the problem that I saw when investigating one issue. I saw that the max backup time was 10 seconds. And I saw that customer had so many unschedulable pods that reprocessing those unschedulable within 10 seconds wasn't possible.
Sorry, what is impossible?
Rescheduling of those all unschedulable pods were not possible.
Within 10 seconds.
Within the 10 seconds. So in fact, scheduler was all the time reprocessing the unschedulable pods, because every 10 seconds then again jumped into active queue.
Yeah. How is it related to this feature?
So it's related because we have to avoid running into the same problem.
So
I think we will solve this problem by creating FIFO queue. That's true. But I think we are losing something still. And the thing that we are losing is the part that was made by active queue, because let's say when we compute back of time, we can put into active queue more than just one pod currently, because there might be several pods like meeting the back of expiration time, and they go to active queue, and we still use their priority to process them in the right order. If we have just FIFO queue, then each pod is equal. I'm not sure if it's good or bad.
Yeah, like to mitigate this, we would need to like change a bit the logic of bag of queue. So, like if we pop the pod, we should like order them, like quantize the time, like if proposed, yeah. So not to have it
Maybe we can
microseconds, like split all the bag of, or I don't know.
But still, some high priority pods may wait in this queue. I don't know. This is something we have to think about because we are running out of time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue the discussion in the issue. Can you post your point in the cap comment and so that we can continue the discussion?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Definitely.
Thanks. So we are running out of time, but do you want to discuss this one briefly? The reservation stuff. Well,
oh, that's interesting.
It's gonna
topic.
be a long discussion, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the question is, do you feel the need for resource reservations?
I feel, because especially because of the burst out scaler issue that we saw with the device plugin. So it's gonna be the similar point as we discussed this one. So how we can reserve the place of the pod during the pod is doing something at binding cycles. So if we can have some reservation mechanism that can be shared between other components such as burst out scale as well, then such unnecessary scaling down or up wouldn't happen. So that's one use case of resource reservation, I think.
So we can discuss at the next meeting.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Maybe
a
should have
huge discussion.
earlier.
Yeah.
Let's take it offline.
All right.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. So have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So stopping the sharing.